spirituality. What is spirituality? What is the meaning of this word? Can you tell me something? What do you think, or how can you define this word? Spirituality or spiritual development? What is your idea? No idea. Pardon? Mental, yes. Then why do we want to use this word, spirituality? Do you think we got spirit in the mind? How this word is derived, or why people use this word, spirituality? In the West, there are many groups or societies deals with spirits. They are also practice spiritualism. They try to contact spirits, talk to them, and get some information from them. This is one kind of spiritualism. And others, like Christians and Muslims, and some Hindus also, but not all, concentrate on some sort of a spirit which are more pure and more advanced, and for their inner development. They define this word in that way. That is why they started to use this word for religious purpose, spirituality. As Buddhists, although we use this word, to us it is not meaningful actually. Because for our mental development, we never concentrate on spirits. Any kind of, whether divine spirits or any kind of spirits. We do not depend on spirit. But we cannot deny the existence. They do exist, but let them exist. So the word used by the Buddha is meaningful word, but no spirits there. I do not know what made you to choose this word, spirituality. I think your idea is the inner development, isn't it? The mental purity. Yes, there is no problem at all. If we try for our mental development, good health, long life, peace, satisfaction, and so many things that we can experience, there is no problem. But prosperity, worldly life, worldly pleasures, material needs have nothing to do with a spiritual development. Remember this. There are many other ways and means or method for us to gain material development, worldly things and worldly pleasures. But having seen the futility or the uncertainty or the fleeting nature of worldly pleasures, material gain and worldly pleasures, by reducing these things, we try to concentrate more on mental development. We cannot mix up these two. Now if you want to develop your mind to become very rich, and if you think this is very good for long life, to live long, if not good fortunes, to win the first prize of social welfare lottery is bought. This kind of belief, if you expect through spiritual development, you pollute the purity of your mind. There is no spiritual development. So, religion, there are three areas where we can experience certain satisfaction in our life. Now this you have to learn today. Certain benefits that we gain within this lifetime. Now many people need this because they are very impatient, they cannot wait. They want to see the result immediately. Those who go and rob others and bluff others to gain something immediately, they need immediate result. They cannot wait for many years to work hard, to earn, to gain what they need. That is how evil practices, they develop in their mind to see the immediate good result, although they are bad. And religious way of life also we can use to experience many good results while we are living here, and not necessary to wait until we die. Just now you told me you recite Metta Sutta, isn't it? Do you know what are the benefits that you gain within this lifetime by practicing, not by reciting? Recital is not the important thing. You can recite anything, but your mind goes somewhere else. You had to concentrate, you had to radiate, and you had to reduce so many evil forces in your mind when you practice this. Otherwise, there is no metta. So, do you know how many good results that you can experience within this lifetime if you really practice this? The answer to your question you can find here in the Buddha's saying. Can you mention some of them? You might have heard. That is a spiritual development. Radiations of loving kindness is a spiritual development. Otherwise we cannot do that. If there is no development, understanding, sympathy, kindness, we cannot radiate our compassion to others. So when you read Paritta chanting book, you can see the sayings of the Buddha. There is another sutra called Mettanisansa Sutta. This is Metta Sutta. So this one is called Metta Anisansa, the benefit of Metta. There is another sutra. In that sutra, the Buddha has mentioned that we can experience 11 kinds of good results while we are living here. They really work. They are not theories or belief or mere philosophy. Practical method for us to experience. 11. Sukhan Supati, sukhang patibuddhyati, na papakang supinang passati, manussanang piyo hoti, amanussanang piyo hoti, devata rakhanti, nasa aggiva visangva sattangva kamati, tuvatang cittang samadhyati, mukhavanno vippasidati, asammulho kalang karoti, uttaring appati vijjanto brahmalokupago hoti. These are the 11 kinds of result. Very meaningful and practical. The first one, Sukhang Supati. We can sleep very well if we really practice this method. Why? We have to define one by one. In our mind, especially our subconscious mind, there are so many evil forces submerged. At the moment, those evil forces have no chance to reflect, focus to our normal mind, because our five senses bring external objects. So the mind is occupied. When we sleep, all the five senses also closed. Then the mind can relax. No external disturbances. That is the time that the subconscious mind becomes very active and projects all the thoughts that we have deposited in the subconscious mind start to work. Then appear as dreams. Then create the vision. Human beings, animals, and all sorts of different kind of figures also appear as vision, created by the subconscious mind. So if we practice this, now before you go to bed, if you can recite this, by concentrating, without allowing your mind to go here and there, directly you must concentrate. You must have inner feeling when you recite. At that time you don't maintain any cruelty, anger or jealousy or grudge or ill will towards anyone. Then you can stop so many evil forces that which project from subconscious mind. Then no bad dreams. And mind or brain cells, nerve systems, blood circulation, heartbeat become very normal. Since there is no excitement by developing evil thoughts in our mind, the various glands in our body which squeeze different kind of hormones or juice, what sort of things, so many all over the body. And they also function accurately without producing poisonous hormone. When we are in fear or tension, all these glands also started to produce certain things and pollute the whole blood circulation. Excitement then affects our stomach, the burning sensation. Then the face also becomes red. Blood circulation blood pressure increase, heartbeat, pulse increase. All these things are created by the mind, affect various areas in the body. So when we stop all these things, then the mind gets the chance to relax. Subconscious mind also does not disturb very much because we don't stir the subconscious mind. Then we can sleep very well. It is practical. Scientifically it is practical. And this is the way we have to practice religion. This is the first result we experience. Now you can test whether it is practical or not. If you experience the difficulty of sleep, then stop all your thinking, then concentrate on your breath. Just only go on counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No need to recite anything in your mind. 1, 2, 3. Now, mind is occupied only one point. No any other point objects in the mind. That is called concentration. Mindfulness, one-pointedness. Then the mind can see. Relax, calm. Within half an hour, you can go to sleep. You can practice tonight. It really works. Then the second one. Sukhang supati, sukhang patibhujyati. After sleeping peacefully, next day morning, when you get up, you don't feel tiredness. Usually we feel tiredness when you get up. It will take at least 10 to 15 minutes to normalize our physical body. But after practicing this meditation, when you get up early morning, you are very cheerful, physically and mentally. You don't experience tiredness. And we can get up at any particular time that we want to get up, say about 5 or 6 or 4. This work just like alarm clocks in the mind. So we can get up without experiencing tiredness and any difficulties. Now this is the second benefit. Na papakang supinang passati. No bad dreams. So many people come and tell us the nature of dreams that they had. They say they have seen dead bodies, they have attended funerals, they have seen fires, houses are burning, people are burning, and volcanic eruptions and so many things. They take this very seriously. Even at midnight they get up and worry, then increase heartbeat also. Fear. Because they cannot understand the nature of dreams. Today I have no time to explain, but I have mentioned this very clearly in my book, What Buddhists Believe. Few pages I have written about dreams. So, when we practice this, we never experience bad dreams, which create fear, suspicion in our mind. But we too experience very nice dreams, very meaningful dreams. The dreams that we experience at the moment all mix up, create more confusion. We cannot catch the meaning. But when we practice this meditation, the dreams which appear in our minds are very clear. no confusion. And there's one point here I would like to mention. Sometimes we get very important information appear as dreams. I think each and every person experiences this once or twice in their life. We get some information earlier. Any fortune or misfortune, we get the news early. But we cannot understand. But do you know how we get these dreams? Can you imagine? How we get this information? Supposing a dangerous accident may take place. But earlier, few days earlier, you had a dream. If not, somebody came and attacked you, tried to kill you. Few days earlier, you had a dream connected to this incident. How did you get this? Difficult to understand, isn't it? That's what I am trying to tell you. There are certain devas or some spirits, we have to use the word spirit here, who are related to us. Some sort of connection, mental relationship. The meaning of transference of merits to our departed person is this. We try to develop our relationship, communication, mental communication. So, some of them are powerful in worldly sense. So they keep an eye on us. So they get the news earlier because they have very sensitive mind, not like human mind. Then I give an example. Supposing somebody is planning to kill you. He think and think, sometimes go and discuss with his very close friends, or I want to do this. Then he plans and he collects certain things, weapons or some poisons or whatever it may be. Devas get the news earlier, but you won't get it. Because of the sensitivity of their mind, they get this news earlier. Then inform you. So when you practice this loving kindness, meditation, devas also like to communicate with you because your mind is not like a dustbin, not dirty. You have some purity in your mind. Then the devas also come closer, nearer to you. For your worldly life, day-to-day life, you get some support from them. They cannot do anything. They are not like human beings. Only thing that they can do, give some information. Either to do something or to avoid. I have given many examples during my talks, my own experience. So we can avoid bad dreams. This is the second benefit. Third one, Manussanam Piyo. Many others, human beings, like. Why do they like us? Because they realize we are harmless people. We don't harm them. they trust. Then, when we develop this loving kindness or metta, some sort of appearance, a serenity, cheerfulness, noticeable indications appear that this person is developing loving kindness or metta and no cruelty in his mind. He is an innocent man, therefore we should not disturb him. Majority. So others like us, others don't like to disturb us. Next one, amanussanam piyohotya. This is more important. Amanussa. Manussa and amanussa. Non-human beings. That means devils and ghosts and spirits and animals. Other living beings also never disturb. They also like. Now you have fear that spirits may come and disturb you, ghosts or devils come and disturb you. Without worshipping, offering to them, if you practice this loving kindness, they like to cooperate with you instead of disturbing you. You know those monks and yogis who spend for many years in deep jungle where there are fierce animals, tigers, pythons, lions and poisonous snakes. But these animals never come and disturb. This because every day they radiate their kindness. This radiation creates vibration. They can catch this vibration. They never disturb, but they like. You know, the Buddha had to spend 3 months in the jungle where there are no human beings. At that time, an elephant, a monkey, 2 of them attended, look after the Buddha. The monkey runs here and there, climbing trees and nice fruits. Every day, come and offer. And the elephants boil water also for Buddha to take bath. Can you understand how elephants boil water for him? Can you imagine? Cannot? Yes? Very practically. These elephants go on searching a certain area where there are accumulated water, like a small pond. Then you go and bring some big stones about this size. Then collect dry leaves, make a heap of dry leaves. Then go and bring 2 pieces of dry wood. Go on rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, then suddenly fire appears. Then the dry leaves, stones inside there. Now stones become very hot. Then by taking one of these sticks and throw these stones into that pond. Hot water. See, no difficult, is it? So when the Buddha wanted to take hot bath during the winter, they prepared. They have shown these operations within their limited mind. Because of these virtues, the holiness and purity. So animals are the living beings. also cooperate. And there is another sutra in Paritta chanting book. A monk was attacked by a poisonous snake and he died. Then the other monk came and reported to the Buddha, so and so died because of this snake bite. Then what did the Buddha say? It seems that this monk has never radiated his loving kindness towards these animals. If he has done this, these snakes never come and attack. Now you can understand others, animals. Then spirit, ghost and devils. Most of them are actually our imaginations. 95% our own imagination. But they do exist. We cannot deny. There are evidence to prove that they really exist. But if we know how to strengthen our mind with confidence through this metta and loving kindness, all those ghosts, devils or the spirits, if they are wicked ones, they keep away. Keep away. If they are good ones, they come nearer. Protect you. There are many stories. This, you know the historical background of this Metta Sutta. A group of monks went to the jungle for meditation, and the devas, that means the spirit. Devas means not heavenly devas, earthbound devas, spirits. They were not very happy, and they started to disturb this monk. So they could not concentrate. So the monks came back and reported to the Buddha, we cannot concentrate there. We have a lot of problems. I think they are spirits. Then the Buddha asked, did you radiate your metta towards them before you start your meditation? They say no. That is the reason why they disturb you. You must go back to the same place. Start your meditation. Before that you must radiate. And when they started to do this, all the spirits slowly keep away, allowing them to concentrate. That is how they cooperate. So these things really work. Manussanam piyo hoti amanussanam piyo. Devata rakhanti. Devata, devas. Rakhanti, protects. Not only those who are related to us. Now referring to heavenly devas. First we were talking about earthbound, a spirit and deva. Heavenly devas are more powerful in worldly sense. Only thing, they cannot give us knowledge. They cannot give us wisdom. They cannot give us our final salvation. They cannot give us our mental purity. That is what Buddhism says. But all the other religions expect everything from God and Deva. The Buddha has pointed out clearly, you can gain so many things from God. All these are worldly things. You cannot gain spiritual development through the influence of Deva. You have to work for that. So but you need so many things. Because you have fear, suspicion. You cannot understand many things. You need their protection. That's why always you go and pray and worship and offer so many things in the name of this God, that God, and so many gods, because of that fear. So you need this protection. Until you attain that higher spiritual development, you need. After that, you no need. So, there are many sayings of the Buddha in Dhammapada. He says, even the king of heaven, Sakra, pay respect to human beings, those who are virtuous, those who are holy. So those devas also respect. Again in the same book, Dhammapada, the Buddha says, those who fulfill all their duties without neglecting family obligations, father and mother and wife and husband and children, and fulfill all their duties without neglecting, without discriminating, those devas protect. So this is more powerful than anything else. Metta. This development in the mind. So always we get protection from devas for our living. But devas cannot take us to heaven, remember. Please remember this. They cannot take us to heaven. They can look after, they can attend to us for certain things, that's all. Devata Rakkanti. Then, Nasa Aggiva Visanva Sattangva Khamati. There are three things here. Poison, fire, and weapons. Those who practice this metta or loving kindness get the chance to escape from poisons, fire, and weapons. This is called the power virtue. That means miss the target. Others may try to beat you, poison you, kill you. But somehow or the other you get the chance to escape. Then Nasa Aggiva Visangva Sattangva Khamati. Tuatam Chittam Samadhyati. This is also very important. Very easily we can concentrate. This is a very big problem. When you want to meditate, always we complain, cannot concentrate. Why it is difficult to concentrate? We have accommodated so many things, so the mind is a rubbish dump. So these things disturb, so we cannot concentrate. So when we apply this meditation, just like a layer, we get the chance to maintain some sort of calmness, peace in our mind, to avoid confusion, mental disturbances. And when we want to think, when we want to read, or when we want to concentrate, we can do that very easily. You know, sometimes when we read books, we read so many pages, but after that, you can see the mind is not there. Mind was somewhere else, but we are reading the book. Meditation also, you come and sit down and meditate. You start for 1 or 2 minutes, you arrest the mind, then the mind slowly runs away somewhere else. You think you are meditating, but you are creating imagination, creating all sort of things in your mind. There is no meditation. But when we develop this, directly we can focus our mind, one-pointedness, then the mind becomes very dynamic force. You know, now we are wasting so much of our mental energy for unnecessary things. You know how much we waste through this, through this, through this, through this and through this. These five senses take out our mental energy and spend them outside for unnecessary things. If not, we create our own imagination, going on thinking, so much mental energy we waste for nothing. Just like a big waterfall, every day and night going on pouring water. Just there is nobody to make use of this waterfall for a better purpose. An understanding person or an engineer goes there and observes very carefully and he thinks, why not I build a dam and accumulate all this water and divert this water either for agriculture, if not, to produce hydroelectricity. It can illuminate the whole country. So in the same way, the mental energy that we are wasting every day and night, if we can harness and accumulate and make use of them, the mind becomes the most dynamic force. Then the fear that we have, suspicions and all sort of silly ideas that we maintain at the moment, everything disappears. Then the devils and ghosts and spirits also disappear, they also run away. Because your mind is stronger than anything else. See, your question is good health, fortune. See how many more things. If you develop this, only one aspect. Metta is only one item. How many more items are there for us to cultivate? Then what would be the situation if we cultivate many more things in our mind? Now, gaining enlightenment, now you can understand. Simply we say enlightenment, but we do not know what it is. Gaining enlightenment means by harnessing, accumulating, without wasting the mental energy, life after life, not within one life. Then eradicating all the evil bad deeds, cultivating and doing more and more good deeds, concentrating and strengthening and developing the mind, in the end, got enlightenment. Now we can understand how powerful, how energetic, how accurate this enlightenment is. Then Devata Rakkanti Nasa Aggiva Visangva Sattangva Kamati Tuatang Chittang Samadhyati. Just now I was telling you, we can concentrate very easily. This is very good for students, those who study, to concentrate and maintain good memory. What they have studied, they can maintain. Mukhavanno vippasidati. Next one. Mukha means face. The Pali word mukha used for the mouth as well as face, both. In Malay also mukha means face, isn't it? The same word. But Pali gives two meanings, mouth as well as face, both. Mukha. Mukha Varna, again Bahasa also Varna. Mukha Varna, color, the complexion. Mukha Varna, Vipasidati, maintain some sort of brightness. And we have seen so many. A group of ladies came to see the Buddha one day, came and asked this question. They asked, why some ladies are very ugly by nature and some others are very pretty? What is the secret? The answer given by the Buddha was, those who have developed their cruelty, anger, jealousy, grudge, evil thoughts during their previous birth, when rebirth takes place, the ugliness of their thoughts appear in the face and the physical body. It is practical. Even before they die, when they are angry, when they are jealous, when you look at their face, see how ugly their face. Maybe a very pretty girl, pretty lady, if she is very jealous, very cruel, where is beauty in it? The face indicates ugliness. Again, on the other hand, those who have cultivated their kindness towards others and compassion and understanding and sympathy, all these virtues mold the future life to become more pretty and cheerful and serene. Well, this is the secret. It is true. So, even an ugly person, a horrible looking person, if he or she can cultivate some of these good qualities, the ugliness slowly fades away. Then others never condemn, never discriminate, and invite and support and cooperate because of the virtues. They can ignore the ugliness but appreciate all the good qualities. Next one, asammulho kalam karoti. Now this is another problem. When we are going to die, it is very difficult for us to depart from this world with pure mind. All sort of confusion take place in the mind. Worrying, lamenting, and suspicions, fear. So many things disturb the mind. So when a person dies, when all this confusion is active in the mind, it is very difficult to have a better rebirth. So when we practice this will become our habits. Assume every day you spend at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Then this has become your habits. So when we do something as our habits, this is called habitual karma. The karma that we perform as our habits may be very minor thing. But at the last moment, dying moment, these habits can support us. Others are not familiar, not used to our mind. But our habits that we develop always functioning almost every day. We renew and renew and renew. This is called habitual karma. So, this can become a habitual karma before our death. After that, although we have committed certain mistake or bad karma due to our weakness, rebirth never takes place in an unfortunate state, because we die with pure mind. Pure means without confusion. All the good deeds that we have done as good karmas may remain for a long period because of that problem. So we can die peacefully in simple language. Another meaning is this. We have seen some people before they are dead, how they struggle physically and mentally, and how they suffer. But many people die peacefully without suffering either physically or mentally. I have seen one case. It's in Bansa. An elderly Chinese lady. So somebody came and told me she is very serious, has asked me to go and bless her. So I went there inside. She is very cheerful, very serene old lady. So when I enter into her room, she with respect, with cheerfulness. But the family members told me, although she looked healthy, doctors told them any moment the heart will stop. So I was reciting. I was watching. While reciting, I was watching. So believe me, she was keeping her arms like this. 15 minutes, right? Just open her mouth like this. Finish. Gone. You think dying is very difficult? Just left. Finish. You think very difficult to die? Finish. Her sister, this lady's sister, was a Catholic. And one of her brother is a Catholic priest. But that lady is a Buddhist. And this Catholic lady told me, actually, I have never seen this kind of miracle. To me, this is a real miracle. And how can she die so peacefully and easily? I strongly believe it is due to your chanting. But I believe it is not only due to my chanting, her own, the nature of her own mind. Because when you look at her, you can see, so serene and very cheerful, because she is very kind and very understanding lady. Now these are the living examples for us to notice. So these things we cannot maintain as theories or belief. What we have seen. Asammulho kalam karot. Right, that is not the end. Some more. Now dead and gone, but that is not the end. Now, one more. I have completed 10. Last one. Another point. When I say that can die peacefully without confusion, without creating confusion in the mind, the advantage is this. We get the chance to recall to remember many of our good deeds, good karmas that we have done. When the mind is pure at that instant. That also helps us for our journey. Last one. Uttaring appati vidyanto brahmaloku pagohoti. After our death, rebirth, existence again, take place beyond this normal human life. Brahma world, higher than Deva Loka. Rebirth can take place in one of the Brahma realm, where they can experience more peace, more happiness, more satisfaction in their life, and they are not crazy for worldly pleasures. Not crazy. We are not happy because we are crazy for worldly pleasures. Now you can see. I think I have answered to your question. Your question is spirituality, fortune, good health, and everything there. The way how Buddha has explained what we gain within this life. Nearly an hour, isn't it? See now? Remember, these 8 items, you must remember, very important. When you read that book of protection, English translation, also you can see there. So I'm going to close. Then radiates our chanting. First, transfer the merits and invite the devas to share our happiness. Then transfer the merits to all our departed ones to receive this merit, and create some sort of aspiration in our mind by the virtues of all the good deeds and the merits that we have accrued. May we get the chance to cultivate our spiritual development, noble way of life, without misleading us, without blindfolding us, until we attain our final goal. Now these are the recitals that we recite every time after our preaching. Right. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu loka sasanang devo asatu kalena sassa sampatti hetu ca phito bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko idango jnātinang hotu sukita vantu jnātayo imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu.